Hi guys, my name is Michael. Welcome back. So in this video, I want to take some time to explain a few concepts that will give you a high level understanding of where we are heading into and what we are heading into as we gradually make our way into 2025. Now, a lot of people are sort of in the dark as to where the world is heading to. They can feel and they can sense that things are not moving in the right direction, but not a lot of people can place their hand on what is happening. So today I want to share a couple of things at a very high level. I also want to show you where XRP fits in terms of the global financial system, because a lot of people, when you take a look at XRP right now, it feels like XRP is one of those things like a spare tire, right? That is never needed, right? And but we all know, if you've been driving for a while, no one pays attention to the spare tire until they've got a flat tire in the middle of nowhere, and then the spare tire becomes very important. So I want to introduce you to a concept called disaster recovery. And if you take a look at this article here, it talks about what is a disaster recovery plan. And you might not know what this is, but if you work in any firm that has got an IT department or use any sort of technology to facilitate the operations of their business, most companies have what we call a disaster recovery plan. And so we see here, it says a disaster recovery plan is a documented, structured approach that describes how an organization can quickly resume operations after an unplanned incident. A DRP is an essential part of a business continuity plan. So what you're saying is that any serious company has something called a disaster recovery plan. So this plan is going to detail in a very structured approach how the company can quickly resume operations after an unplanned incident. And this is what I've been trying to get you guys to understand, that we're heading into a season where there might be a lot of unplanned incidents. We talked about disruptions, right? We talked about disruptions. So we're coming into a season of disruptions, which is, another word for unplanned incidents. So most companies have this disaster recovery plan. So when you're looking at the global financial system, it's no different from any other company out there, right? The financial system of the world runs as a company if you dig down further, and they also create disaster recovery plans. And XRP is one of those disaster recovery plans. In the event of an incident, this is the solution that will be brought into view to quickly resume operations. And that's on a very high level. I'm trying to not go into too much details, but XRP is a disaster. It's part of a disaster recovery plan for the global financial system. It is part of a disaster recovery plan. Okay, so let me take this further and just give you an example of what I'm talking about. Now, most times, when you want to understand what is going to happen in the future when it comes to the global economy, or the global system, in its entirety, one of the things that you take a look at is what is being simulated, right? Simulations are very, very important, because nothing happens in this world, in this in this globe, or how would I put it? Nothing happens in the world without it being simulated. Everything you see happening in the world are always, first of all, simulated, because the architects, or the people that are quote unquote in charge of the world, want to know the fallout. They want to know the ramifications. They want to know what could go wrong so that they can plan for it. So before you see anything play out in the world, before you see anything rolled out into the world, there is always a simulation. And a lot of people do not pay attention to the simulations, because the simulations actually are simulating possible events. They are simulating, in their own way. They always say, okay, this is a simulation, we're going to use hypothetical scenarios. But those hypothetical scenarios are scenarios that the simulators believe can actually play out. And so they're trying to game it out to understand, if this plays out, what can we do to prevent chaos? What can we do to manage risks? What can we do to to mitigate against this risk? So if you see things playing out between Israel, Hamas, Hezbollah, all those things have been simulated in the past. So Israel is not just going in blind, to that war. A lot of things have been simulated. Now, during the actual event, there might be some surprises, because you might not get everything in a simulation, but understand that everything is first of all simulated before it plays out in the world. And that's something you need to get at the back of your head. So let's take a look at a simulation that was done in 2021, because this simulation will help you understand what we are going into in 2025. Because 2025, I've told you guys, this is financial times. So there's going to be a lot of financial events in 2025. And I want to walk you through some possible scenarios of some of the things that we might see in 2025. And when I say 2025, don't think I'm talking about January 2025. In my own opinion, we have come into 2025 already. According to the Jewish calendar, it's a new year already. So my own opinion, 2025 started, a week ago. On the 1st of October, thereabout, 2025 started, and so we're already in 2025. So anything you see from here on, November, December, you count that as 2025, and that's the way I structure myself, if you want to put it that way. So in 2021, this was December 9, 2021, there was a very, very interesting simulation that was done. And you can see here, IMF 10 countries simulate cyber attack on global financial system. So this was a simulation that was done. So they did a simulation to see if the global financial system was hit with a very sophisticated cyber attack, and the system fell down. What will be the ramifications, and how will they be able to mitigate the fallout of that incident? And let's just take a look at some of the things here. It says here that Israel on Thursday led a 10-country simulation of a major cyber attack on the global financial system, in an attempt to increase cooperation that could help to minimize any potential damage to financial markets and banks. It says the simulated war game, as Israel's finance ministry called it, and planned over the past year, evolved over 10 days with sensitive data emerging on the dark web. So this is where they're trying to, simulate what could start the issue. The simulation also used fake news reports that in a scenario caused chaos in global markets and a run on banks. So what we are saying here is that based on this scenario, and if this were to play out in real life, if there was an attack on a system, on a critical system of the global financial system, there will be news going around. Twitter will be filled with news and everything, and this will make people react. There will be a run on the bank, so people will try to get to the bank to take out their money. We saw what happened during Signature and SB. I think is the SB Silicon Valley Bank. We saw what happened there. A lot of people were running to get their money out, and in these days where you have your digital apps, a run on the bank is a lot faster than before, where you had to go queue at the bank to withdraw physically. So a run on the banks is a lot faster in this digital world. So let's go to the second part. It said the simulation, likely caused by what officials called a sophisticated players, features several types of attacks that impacted global foreign exchange. That's one part. Global foreign exchange also impacted the bond market, another critical area. Bond market and liquidity. And you see, I started liquidity first before I started highlighting all these ones. And this liquidity area is where XRP is going to be playing a major role. Liquidity. So if there was a sophisticated attack on the global financial system, there will be impact on a number of things. Global foreign exchange, bond markets, liquidity, integrity of data and transactions between importers and exporters. So that integrity, we all know that one of the things that blockchain does very well is the integrity of the data and the transaction, between any party. Blockchain handles that well, but the current system might not be able to handle that if we had a sophisticated cyber attack. Okay, let me show you another thing that caught my attention here. Let's go here. Let's go to this paragraph. It said participants in the initiative called Collective Strength included Treasury officials from Israel, United States, UK, UAE, Austria, Switzerland, and these are important players. We see Switzerland is there, US is there, the UK is there, the IMF is there, the World Bank is there, and also the Bank for International Settlements. And these are very key players in the global financial system. And so the next paragraph says the narrator of the film in the simulation said governments were under pressure to clarify the impact of the attack, which was paralyzing the global financial system. The banks are appealing for emergency liquidity assistance in a multitude of currencies to put a halt to the chaos as counterparties withdraw their funds and limit access to liquidity. So we're always saying this word liquidity, liquidity, liquidity. So we know that if there's an issue with the global financial system, one of the places where that will be impacted will be liquidity. How to get liquidity going again. That is a major thing that will be impacted. So we see that liquidity always being mentioned. And if you take a look at XRP, if you take a look at Ripple, you will notice that Ripple has all this product called Liquidity Hub, on-demand liquidity, all those liquidity terms. You keep hearing that term, liquidity, liquidity, because liquidity is going to be an issue if the global financial system is impacted. So all these things are not coincidence. That, I mean, Ripple calling all their products liquidity this, liquidity that. It's not a coincidence. There's a reason why. So limiting access to liquidity, leaving the banks in disarray and ruin. And so this is where we're talking about disaster recovery, because what we are seeing here is a disaster, right? A disaster is playing out in real time. And so a disaster recovery plan is now needed to get everybody back into normal operations again. And that is why I said this is where things like XRP is going to come into play. Because when all these things are happening, you can see that XRP will be able to plug in terms of liquidity, in terms of the integrity of the data and transactions, between two parties. Those are things that XRP will be able to do very well. But the most important thing, the most important role is liquidity. Where XRP will play a role is liquidity. Now, let's take a look at the next paragraph here. It said the participants discuss multilateral policies to respond to the crisis, including coordinated bank holidays. Now, it's important for you to understand that these are some of the strategies. These are some of the policies that will be rolled out in the event of an issue in the global financial system. Coordinated bank holidays, meaning that all the banks will close at the same time. So the reason for that is if you have one bank opened, a lot of people will be running to that bank to withdraw their money, right? So if in the event of an issue or in the event of a disaster, a black swan that affects the global financial system, we will see all banks shut down at the same time. And that is why you need to plan for all these scenarios, because these are the possible solutions these are the things that they might roll out. So these are the policies, and you can see here multilateral policies to respond to the incident. One of the policies that will be rolled out, because these simulations are actually not simulations, they're actually telling you what they were going to do if this were to happen. So coordinated bank holidays, meaning all the banks will close at the same time. So basically, you're going to hear a news saying that, banks are going to be closed for the entire week or 2 weeks, depending on how long it takes to bring the system back online. So all the banks will be closed. So, and this is why you need to plan for situations like this. The next policy that might be rolled out, we're talking about debt repayment grace period. So people who should be paying their mortgage, people who should pay all those things, there will be a grace period where, like what we saw, in the during the lockdowns. We know that there was a grace period for rent, right? People who they suspended rent payments for some people, suspended student loan payments, all those things were suspended. So that is part of the debt payment grace, although this might be between bigger companies or bigger banks or bigger players, but it's still the same concept. Now, this last one, coordinated delinking for major currencies. Coordinated delinking for major currency. And so this is also, this just shows you the sheer level of chaos that we're going to see just from a single cyber attack at the right place at the right time. All these things will play out. So as somebody who is looking at all these simulations, you're asking yourself, are you prepared for any of these scenarios, like coordinated bank holidays, like a debt coordinated delinking for major currencies? All these things will play out. And so we need to be thinking, like, how do you protect yourself against all these things? How do you position yourself against all these things? So I know I did this video to sort of put into perspective what XRP will be doing, in the case of a disaster, because I've always said this on this channel that XRP is a disaster recovery solution. And that is why it doesn't make sense to anybody right now. The only reason why a lot of people cannot see the usefulness or the importance of XRP is because there is no disaster. Now, in a disaster, XRP is going to be obvious to everybody. It is going to be, no one will need, you won't need to go to Ripple, you won't need a YouTuber, you won't need someone on TikTok or someone on Twitter to tell you the importance of XRP in a crisis. It will be very glaring. I mean, it will become glaring to everybody that, whoa, okay, you're going to see a lot of people have that epiphany, that moment where like, oh, okay, this is what XRP was all about. This is why we keep hearing things like on-demand liquidity. This is why we keep hearing things like, what's the name of that one? Liquidity hub. We keep hearing all this liquidity. It will become very obvious to everybody. But for now, XRP looks like a spare tire. But in the right context, in the right background, in the right scenario, and in the right time, everyone is going to understand what XRP was made for. And so I just thought I'd give you this high level overview of where we are heading into, because when you understand things from this point, from this level, a lot of things are easy. You're not going to be asking yourself like, oh, should I buy XRP at 50 cents? Should I buy XRP at 53 cents? Should I buy XRP at 60 cents? When you understand this from this level, you will understand that XRP is at a bargain right now. It's a crazy bargain. I mean, it's almost ludicrous, the price of XRP right now, to say the least. So guys, use this information how you may. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not asking you to buy anything. I'm just here giving you my opinion of what I see on the horizon as we move further into 2025. But understand that 2025 is going to be a very disruptive year, but it's also going to be a year filled with opportunities. And I've been singing this thing for the past couple of months that we are heading into disruptions and opportunities. So when you see an information like this and you see the possible disruptions that the world might face, what we want to do is we want to mitigate against all these things. If banks are going to be closed for weeks, what can you do to ensure that that doesn't impact your life? It doesn't impact you. A lot of people might not understand the impact of banks not opening for 2 weeks. Do you get, like, a lot of people do not understand this? I'm talking about you waking up and your banking app is not opening up, or you waking up and there's no service in your banking app. What will you do? How will you be able to live a normal life for 2 weeks or 21 days? Those are things that we need to be thinking about. Those are things that we need to be thinking about. So I don't know what your strategy will be to mitigate against all these things, but I'm here to bring it to your attention so that, it can be at the back of your mind. So guys, I just thought I'd bring this to your attention. Like always, please, if you like contents like this, click on the like button, subscribe to the channel. I've got so many things to share with you guys as we go into 2025 so that you can be prepared, you can be positioned, and also you can prevent all these disruptions from affecting you and your loved ones. So guys, I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good day. Bye for now.